Yes, let's go. Welcome back to the Right Hook Pod. Oh, you see it. You see what it is. You see it. It's New York Tings. It's the Right Hook Pod. Your boy Mike Ryan, sniper below, and brother. This is the what I would call an appetizer to the main course. We got UFC Fight Night. We got Sean Strickland. We got Magomedov, Abus Magomedov, and it's going to be a banger. Excited for that. Before we break everything down, Sniper, how we feeling? Fresh off that 3-1.
Listen,
Let's
man, you should have
go.
seen me if you was paying attention. If
Yes,
you were
sir.
paying attention to that day
Hmm.
and my reaction to that, I was steaming for the next 3 hours after that. I
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
stop shaking. I was so happy because
Listen,
I knew what was coming. I knew.
and so just in case anybody's new here, Sniper had a lock of the night. It was Brandon Allen, double chance, knockout sub, but it wasn't always Brandon Allen. It wasn't. So Snipe did a little, I don't know, maybe a halftime right before the game started, a little adjustment, and he flipped a double chance, and we cashed.
We
We cashed.
cashed it.
I think
We
it's I
cashed
think
it.
it's the greatest feeling when people are betting what we put out because like at the end of the day, I mean we know what we're talking about, but it still seems cool to put money in other people's pockets. I feel
Yeah,
like that's
man. The confirmation, seeing it happen live, and then just knowing like for me, like obviously it feels good winning money, but
of
when I
course.
can spread the love, oh man, it's one of the
Right,
greatest.
love, that's the Brooklyn way. Ain't you in Brooklyn too, bro? Come
Come
on
on
now.
now,
Come
come
on
on
with it. No, it's
now.
good, man. Shout out to everybody who's been tagging us, posting our slips. I listen. I don't know what it is with me in the prelims, but we have a mutual understanding, and we're on point. We're on
Let
point.
me give you a round of applause, real quick,
Now,
kid.
you too, bro. You too.
Prelim Mike coming on
Listen,
the scene, swinging.
listen. So be aware when you're watching this. We're gonna release it a little early, but make sure you're watching the prelims. I'm gonna have something for y'all. So
Yes,
it's
sir.
it's a
Yes,
good
sir.
time, man. We're having a lot of fun doing this, and without the support, though, truthfully, like it's just I don't know. It's keeping me going, and I know it's keeping you going as well. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. So listen, we got a lot of predictions. We got the lock of the night, which I heard. Are we? Oh,
We
hold it.
might.
Hold
We
it.
might.
We're
Some
gonna break.
unprecedented things, but we'll get to it. You know what I mean?
Let's go. We're gonna break down all these fights coming up. It's the Right Hook Pod. Let's go. Welcome back. It's the Right Hook Pod. Mike Ryan, my man Sniper. Make sure you're following us on everything at the Right Hook Pod on Instagram, YouTube. Drop a like, follow us, tag us. We're pretty good with resharing.
Subscribe. We're on
Yeah,
the TikTok
subscribe.
as well, the Right Hook Pod. Make sure you fucking, you know what I mean? Because all my parlays usually go up on the TikTok. So if you
Facts.
can
You
follow
do a
that,
really good job at it too, man. I'm kind of clueless when it comes to editing videos like with TikTok. So kudos to you, brother. That ain't my world. That's
I'm
yours.
trying. It ain't mine either, but for the pod and for the people, I'll do
Facts.
whatever I gotta do. You know what I mean?
That's a fact, man. So listen, I appreciate that. We got a lot to get to, so let's get to it. Sean Strickland, he's going up against Mbus Magomedov. Obviously, before we touch on that, this card is it's a sleeper. It's one of those like right now we're in the middle of what I call a run. Right, UFC has had 3 fights before this, like in a row, so
Mhm.
they're just piling them on. So don't get discouraged if you don't really know some of these names because you've probably seen them fight on other prelims for main cards. So let's start it off with the first fight of the night, and it's going to be my guy Bruno Fietta. Or I'm sorry, I might have said that wrong. My guy Bruno, is it Fietta?
Bruno Fajeda. Fajeda.
Fajeda. That's right, Bruno Fietta, and he's going up against. Good luck with that, Ruzabov.
Ruza Boev. Ruza.
Boaz. All right, let me get that
Haga.
right. Let me get that right one last time. That's my guy Fietta. Oh, I fucked it up again, didn't I? Go ahead one more time.
Fajeda. Fajeda.
Fajeda. You think I
Fajeda.
would get it by now? Whatever. Fajeda versus the man who we can't pronounce. So, without further ado, Sniper, fill us in. Pause. Let us know what's going on with this fight.
Let's get
Second
to
week in a row.
it. So here's the thing, right? Bruno Fajeda, this dude is undefeated as of right now. He's 10-0, 100% finishing rate.
Yep.
He has 3 submissions with 7 knockouts, and most of his finishes are in the first round. He has 8 finishes out of 10 in the
He
first
looks like
round.
a scary dude, bro. I wouldn't want to
The
step
man
in.
has sneaky power, dog. Sneaky power. You should have seen his last fight. I forgot who he went up against, but all it took was a sneaky left bing right down the pipe.
That's it. That's all.
Mouth and dropped him. Oh, it was against RoboCop.
Oh,
RoboCop, dude.
okay.
Gregory Rodriguez, I think his name is. RoboCop, the dude, the guy.
That's knowledge right there. That's coming right from
And
you.
he dropped him. All it took was one left. Dropped him clean. Knocked him clean out. So the dude has vicious knockout power that comes out of nowhere. And he also likes to switch stances a lot during his fights, which confuses his opponent.
And it's hard to connect when you're trying to size him up in his movement.
It's hard to read a guy. You don't know if he's gonna fight southpaw, orthodox. You don't know how to, come at him. You don't know how to approach his angles and stuff like that. It has to be very frustrating going up against a switch striker like him.
Right.
But yeah, that just goes to show man has power. Man has devious power. And that was I believe that was his UFC debut. No, I don't know if it was his UFC debut, but I know he won his last 5 fights by knockout.
Yep.
So
I'm going to look that up right now. I'm going to look up when that was, but continue.
He's on a knockout run. His last fight I know was in January. I just don't know if it was his
debut. So he actually fought on the Glover Teixeira Jamal Hill fight. And he beat Gregory Rodriguez by knockout in the first round.
Was that his debut or?
Nope. So he fought on the technically, he fought on the Dana White Contender Series back in 22, and he won via TKO punches in the first round.
Yep.
But other than that, he fought in the Big Shot League, and then I think a lot of these were in Brazil. But no, so his last fight, January of this year, and he won in the first round in under a minute. Keep that in mind.
So I think they count the Contender Series as a UFC fight. So he's 2-0 in the UFC right now. Let's just say that. And both by knockout in the first round.
Yeah.
Just goes to show how much his power is. However, he's going up against Bruiser Boev, butcher it, don't give a fuck, whatever. You know
what are you gonna do?
You know who he is. And this man has a record unseen.
34, bro.
Unseen of a guy who hasn't fought in the UFC yet. He's about to make his debut this weekend, right? 34 wins, 8 losses, 2 draws.
Keep in mind, by the way, I don't mean to cut you off, but keep in mind, he hasn't fought in over a year. The last time he fought was April 10th, 2022. Yeah, and that was in some other league. So just keep that in mind when you're taking it in consideration when you're betting.
Definitely didn't read that much into it. Thank you for letting me know because it kind of shifts things a little bit, but we'll keep it going. The dude's on an 8-fight win streak regardless, and all of them by first round finishes. Yep. Whether it's submission by armbar, Kimura, triangle choke.
He's got a lot of Kimuras, bro.
Or just clean knockout, right? The dude has finishing ability. He has 12 knockouts and 20 submissions. So 32 finishes out of 34 wins. That has to say something, right? That has to say scary. That has to say threat. He's been finished twice, one by knockout, one by submission, and going up against a knockout artist like Bruno Ferreira, it's a bit scary. Honestly, this is one of those fights where I'm a little iffy on money line.
Okay.
I am a little iffy on money line, but I am going to pick. And for some reason, I don't know, vibes is telling me, right? Vibes is telling me pick the dog in this fight, right? Okay. Vibes is telling me go with the guy with the deep record, pause, and 12 knockouts, 20 submissions. He obviously knows what he's doing in order to finish the fights. You know what I mean? And it's a nice little value to pick him at plus odds. So I think.
Go ahead.
I said I think I'm gonna go with him.
And he is the younger fighter too, by the way, of the two. He is the younger fighter. Just maybe that helps you at all.
It might, but then when you say that he hasn't fought in over a year, that kind of scares me a little bit.
He didn't take any damage. He did submit his last guy in the first round, so he didn't take any damage. But it's a little alarming, though.
Yeah, maybe he spent these years spend that year. I mean, honing his skills, knowing that he's about to get a UFC contract, whether it's a fight 2, fight 3, fight whatever. But he knows he's about to fight under the bright lights, big city,
You're right.
and maybe that lit a fire under his ass to know that okay. And he knows. I'm pretty sure he did the research against this.
And he accepted the fight. He accepted the fight. You have
so he knows. He knows who he's going up against. So, I have to go with my gut. Usually I try to be safe a little bit, but I'm not gonna lie, this episode I'm gonna be a little risky. You know what I mean? So
that's fine because you look at it right now as we speak. It's Thursday. He is at plus 180 right now. So he's the plus 180 dog, and we've seen bigger underdogs come out on top. Yeah, I guess it warns me a little bit that he hasn't fought in over a year. But when you break it down, like you said, he also accepted this fight, right?
Yeah.
And who wants to make their UFC debut against somebody who's 10-0?
And they don't believe that they can win. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he believes.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this in my notes. I might go with Ruzabov.
You know what I mean? And as far as like, so I don't know if you, for those who are new, I usually pick something I'm a lot more comfortable with in a fight, and then something I would like to sprinkle on. And in this fight, I kind of feel that it ends in knockout, right?
Okay.
This is a good way to hedge your bet. So if you don't want to listen to me, or you don't want to tell me as far as picking the underdog, maybe sprinkle a little some on it ending in a knockout, because who knows, maybe one or the other gets knocked out.
Can I ask you a question? Because this is a healthy it's a healthy debate. I'm curious why do you think knockout? Because if you look statistically,
yeah,
you have Fajeda who has knocked out his opponent, but if you're riding with Ruzabov, I mean, this dude, he's a submitting machine.
Right. No, 100%. So here's why I'm sprinkling on knockout or TKO, because he does have a bunch of knockouts, right?
Yeah,
and it's basically a way to hedge because I think that Ruzabov is going to win, but if he doesn't, I believe he loses by knockout.
Yes, sir.
Right. So and it's also possible because, as the stats show, he has knockout ability. So, with that being said, I feel like it's the value's there for me to be like, all right, maybe I'll sprinkle. If it ends in submission, it ends in submission. This is why you sprinkle, right? This is why you
responsibly
money on it. You throw a little 10 bones, you know what I mean? And then shoot for the stars. So yeah, that's my breakdown.
So I guess right, and just to kind of tail off of just if you're new here or you're not really sure how to bet, rewind it about a minute and a half. Let Sniper explain to you again why he would hedge this, because he doesn't think Fajeda is going to win. It's a proper hedge, right? And that's why, again, you say sprinkle. So just reiterating, if you're a little confused still and you don't really know where to go, rewind it just a little bit and let Sniper explain to you on his philosophies, because it's very important, because you're playing with your money. You don't want to lose it. Coming up, we have another fight to break down, and in this card, man, we're just going to keep it rolling. It's UFC Fight Night. It's Sean Strickland. It's Abus Magomedov, and we're going to have to break down that Ishmael fight. All coming up. Hang tight. It's the Right Hook Pod. Welcome back. It's the Right Hook Pod. It's your boy Mike Ryan, Sniper, and we are cruising along right now, breaking down these fights. We got Sean Strickland. We got Abus I want to say Nurmagomedov so bad, but it's just Magomedov. But before we get there, we do have a ton of fights to break down. And this next one, you might have heard of him, Ismael Bonfim versus Benoit Saint Denis. I said it right.
Yes, you did.
Almost like I clicked pronunciation.
Kudos.
Listen, this is an exciting fight. I like to say that it's exciting because you got Benoit Saint Denis. He's 10-1, and then you got Ismael 19-3. A battle in the lightweight division. And without further ado, Sniper, talk to me, talk to the people, and how are you feeling about this fight?
I'm feeling like this is gonna be a fucking this definitely does not go the distance. Let me just start off with that.
Far off.
No way on God's green earth that this fight goes the entire 15 minutes. I don't believe it. It's Ismail Bonfim. He is on a 13 fight winning streak right now. He's also the older brother of Gabriel Bonfim, who has been raking. Both of these brothers been raking since they entered the UFC. Ismail Bonfim knocked out with a flying knee Terrence McKinney. T-Rex Terrence McKinney.
Ooh, yo, he's on
I,
Twitter all the time.
I did not think that was ever going to happen. I did not think I would ever see Mans go full stiff rigor mortis like that. Never thought in all of my days where I would see that, and it happened. So you got to put respect on this guy's name. He's on a tear. He got 9 knockouts. He got 4 submissions. However, he's been submitted 3 times, but lately, nobody could touch him right now.
Facts.
You know what I mean? He's like I said, 13 fight winning streak. He likes to wait for the punches, right?
Right.
He's a very quick and sound counter striker. He has dynamite in his hands, enough to hurt somebody. He also has great wrestling. You know, he knows how to mix in the shoot with the leg kicks, with the 1-2s, with the 3, with the backhand, all that. He's just nice. He's just nice, and he's earned all of my respect. And he's going up against Benoit Saint Denis, who is another fucking dog. This dude, his only loss was against Eliseu Zaleski dos Santos. And it was very controversial. I'm not going to lie, because Eliseu was low-key whooping his ass. And Herb Dean definitely should have, stopped the fight. But he didn't. So it ended up going to decision, which means he has never been finished. Right? Unfortunately, he should have been finished. But I don't want to say that to take away from the guy's skills, because he is 10-1. Right? He has 100% finishing rate with 2 knockouts and 8 submissions. He's on a 2-fight winning streak right now. Obviously, like I said, never been finished. And he's always going for the finish. The man fights like he's hungry. Like he wants to go have a nice steak dinner with some garlic mashed potatoes right after.
Fighting for a bonus. He's fighting for that bonus.
And you don't want to stay there for 15 minutes. You know what I mean? I don't
care how long damage, unnecessary damage.
Yeah, I don't care how long the man's been training. He's trying to get in and out of there, just like Ismail Bonfim. So this is why I say I highly, highly, highly doubt that this goes the distance.
Okay.
I am taking Bonfim on this.
Okay.
Because of if you've been following the episodes, if you've been following the podcast, you know I'm a big momentum guy. And so far, it has been playing out very well for me. So I'm going to stick with what I know and just go with the guy who has the most momentum and go with the 13-fight winning streak, Ismail Bonfim, for the money line in this fight. Now, if I had to sprinkle on something, how I don't think is going to go the distance, and I honestly don't think is going to go over a round and a half. So I'm definitely going to sprinkle under 1.5 rounds.
You are a bold man tonight.
100%. I told you. This is the episode where I take risks.
You got it, because you know what, bro? You've been on fire playing it safe. Let's do it. I'm with
let's see what the Vegas gods got for me. You know what I mean? Let's see what they got. Let's see what they can bless me with, and hopefully we come out on top.
Facts. Well, listen, it's an interesting card. Sean Strickland going against Abus Magomedov, and we're just getting started, so hang tight. We got more breakdowns on the way, and some would say that lock of the night is creeping up. It's on the way. It's all coming up next for you on the Right Hook Pod.
Uh-oh.
What up? This is the Right Hook Pod. We are back, and listen, only if you knew what happened off the camera. Listen, we're just 2 guys talking about UFC. And speaking of which, ironic, we're here for it. The women's flyweight. Try that again. Irene Lipsky, Melissa Gatto. I think I remember Gatto. She's a dog, I'm pretty sure. So, but let me not tamper anyone's thoughts. Let Sniper give you the full preview, breakdown, and who you got.
So I do co-sign. I do co-sign with what you just said. Melissa Gatto is she got that it factor. You get
Yeah.
what I'm saying? She's very well versed on the ground. She has 2 knockouts but 4 submissions, and she's also never been finished. She's 2-1 in the UFC, and her only 2 knockouts were in the UFC.
Okay.
Right? She went against I forget her name, but she's a pretty powerful striker, and she ended up finishing her to the point where she didn't even know she got finished, and then she tried to hold on to her leg, and Gatto's trying to get away. The fight has already been stopped. Like it was one of those ones, right?
Okay.
However, like she's dangerous on the ground. If she goes on her back, she's constantly throwing submissions at you.
She's safe there. She's safe on the ground.
Yeah, she's definitely safe on the ground, but lately I feel like she has been trying to prove herself on the feet.
For sure.
Right? She makes how do I put this? She might be, however, a bit too accepting on being on her back. Because I know her last fight, it was either her last fight or her only loss, right? Her only loss, she was a bit too it was against Tracy Cortez, Brian Ortega's girl.
Yep.
It was against Tracy Cortez where she was a bit too comfortable on her back. It was actually her last fight. Too comfortable on her back. She was throwing the submissions, but Tracy kept defending them, and then throwing the ground and pound, and it just
Yeah.
it salts my taste about her because that was recent. That was her most recent.
She just fought May 7th on the Oliveira Gaethje card.
Exactly, and
Oh
that's
no! Wow, I'm capping. That was last year, May 7th, 2022.
Wow.
I apologize. So she hasn't fought for over a year.
So she hasn't fought in over a year. So hopefully she changes her game plan a bit and not be too accepting on the ground because she's going up against a dangerous person. They call her the Queen of Violence for a reason.
Ooh, and you can't go wrong with that name.
Irene Lipsky. She got 6 knockouts, 3 submissions under her belt. She's 15-8-0. She's been knocked out 4 times, and it's messed up because her tenure in the UFC has been a bit wishy-washy, right? She's 4-5 in the UFC, and her last 2 fights she won. She's not on a win streak. Her last 2 wins were by decision.
Right.
And
she went the decision with Tracy Cortez as well.
Yeah. So she also went to decision with JJ Aldrich, an up and comer. JJ Aldrich is also like that, and Irene, I believe, was a heavy underdog in that fight, and she came to fight. She came to fight JJ. She was mixing her shit up a little too good, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting there like, oh shit, is Irene back? Like, but whatever. She did win. However, her last 3 losses were by knockout.
Right.
That being said, she doesn't have to worry about the knockout power of Gatto. I feel like. Because
she should be more worried about the takedown.
She should be more worried about the takedown 100%. Irene Lipsky is a very aggressive fighter. She does have problems against power, but again, like I said, I don't think the power of Gatto is enough to shake her. And with that being said, what I feel most comfortable about this fight, I think this does go over a round and a half. So if you could find that prop, definitely take that.
Yep.
It going over a round and a half. It might end the third round. It might go the distance, but I really do think that it goes over a round and a half. And I'm going to sprinkle Lipsky on this fight.
Oh, okay. Is she the underdog?
She is the underdog.
Oh, shit.
I think Gatto is -2 something.
Is it a dog fight? Is it a dog card or what?
This is what I'm saying, man. And usually I don't go for the dogs. There's a reason why these people are favorites. And lately it has been working out for me. But it's just something about this card, man. I don't know. Where I feel like the underdogs have a lot more to prove than the favorites. And they're going to show out tonight, Saturday night. So
she's plus 184 as of Thursday. Melissa Gatto, the heavy favorite, plus 230. And the total rounds right now, the line is set at over 2.5, minus 126.
Is it over 2.5?
So it is over 2.5. I think
Me.
at minus 126 is pretty good value there. Um, but yeah, so she is the underdog. Does that alter your way of thinking?
Hey, 2.5. The line's a bit high, man. But you know what? At minus, what was it? Minus one what?
So for over 2.5 is let me see here. It is minus 126. If you take
I'll
the
take it.
under, minus 102.
Fuck.
Right. That's what I'm. Vegas is working.
Fucking hell, bro.
Yeah,
Ah,
they're working overtime. Is this an Apex fight, by the way?
it is.
It is an Apex.
Pretty
That's so
sure. Yeah.
bro.
We'll take over 2.5. Fuck it. We'll take it.
He said it right there, ladies
We'll
and
take
gentlemen.
over 2.5. Let's
Over
do it.
2.5. Irene Lipsky, Melissa Gatto.
Let me,
Before we break it into our next thing, did you have anything else on that, or are you all good?
Sprinkle Lipsky. Like I do think she takes it.
Plus 184. Hey man, we're trying to make you money. It's the Right Hook Pod. We'll be right back. All right, it's the Right Hook Pod. Welcome back. Might I say, this is my favorite fight on the card. I'm gonna say it right now. This could be fight of the night.
I don't blame you, kid. I do
love
not.
it. I absolutely love it. It's gonna be a banger in the welterweight division is stacked. I love it. Max Griffin, Michael Morales. Here we go. Max Griffin, 19-9. Michael Morales, a smooth 14-0. The welterweights clash on Saturday. Sniper, what is going on?
So I'm gonna start with my boy Max Payne, right?
Gotta do it. The right way.
Um, there's a reason why. There's a reason why he's a very, very lovable fighter, right? He just comes to bang. Max Payne for a reason. He comes to bang, man. I don't think I ever seen a dull fight from him. He definitely wants to make a showcase every time he goes and fights in the octagon. He has
Right.
9 knockouts, 2 submissions. He has been knocked out once, but regardless of that, he's a very aggressive fighter. He always goes for the finish. At least that's what it looks like to me, right? Maybe that's his approach. Maybe he's a lot more measured than I think, and he just has the gas tank to always keep that pressure on his opponent. But regardless of the fact, he does keep that pressure on his opponent, and he does what it looks like always go for the finish. In the last 5 fights, he has 2 knockouts and 2 decisions in his last 5 fights. And he's also a pretty durable fighter.
Right.
So that scares me when I say what I'm about to say next. Michael Morales, smooth goose egg in the loss column.
Mm-hmm.
The man just wins. Right? He comes in and he wins. He has 11 knockouts with 1 submission. He's 3-0 in the UFC, and the last 2 wins was by knockout.
Yep. And just to be quite honest, Adam Fugit, remember I think he was on a couple. Yeah, he knocked him out in the 3rd round, and Trevin Giles in the 1st round he got a knockout. So just keep that in mind.
So he's swinging with heat. He's definitely trying to knock your block off. You know what I mean? And he's a very strong fighter, dangerous, durable, all the names under the sun, right?
Yep.
And what's more dangerous about him is that he doesn't rush the finish. You usually see with these fighters in the UFC that, well, especially the new fighters, right? We're not talking about the veterans who are a lot more experienced and stuff like that. We're talking about new fighters like Michael Morales. When a guy is this green in the UFC, we usually see when he wobbles an opponent, he just throws it all out there, and then hopefully he gets to finish and not tire himself out for no reason, right? This dude, Michael Morales, is measured. He's patient. He's calculated. If he wobbles you, he's just gonna, constantly just Slowly bring that pressure in and pick his shots, just so he knows that he's gonna
Strategically.
knock him out. You know what I mean? And that's what I find the most dangerous about this guy, who's hungry, who's undefeated, who's new in the UFC, and who has a name to prove for himself.
But
So
dude, he's going up against a fucking menace, bro.
yeah,
Menace.
yeah, he's going up. He's going up against some I'll bite your head off fighters, and not once have I ever sensed any type of intimidation in him.
Right.
So with that being said, love my boy Max Payne, love him to death. Gotta go with Morales on this one. Gotta go with Morales on this one.
I gotta see the money line situation on that. I'm just curious.
Here, I'll look it up for you. Let's see.
I got it. So Max Griffin, plus 210. Michael Morales minus 265.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you. It looks like on the entire card, this would be the fight probably to stay away with on the money line because he's the highest favorite on the card.
Oh, is he?
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit!
Yep.
Sticking
So,
with it.
yeah.
Sticking
So,
with it.
yeah. All right. Just for viewers out there, I'm going against you. I'm taking my boy Max Griffin, and that's just. And I think what I'm going to do is take the. I'm going to take it to go under, and I think that's the way. And maybe the method of victory is knockout.
Oh, the method of victory would 100% be knockout. But
Yeah.
What's the line in total rounds?
Yeah, right. I should probably know that before going out here and saying what I'm betting. But even still, it's 2.5, and the under is plus 104. I'm taking it.
Under is at 2.5. The under is plus 104.
They must respect Morales, and they must respect Max way too much. Don't care. Under 2.5.
Taking it.
I don't even do lock of the nights, and that would be mine. not my call. But hey,
so, real quick, I do want to touch on something. Like I was trying to say before, Michael is very green in the UFC. He only has 3 fights in the UFC. However, 3-0, still green, and he's going up against a very, very experienced fighter.
Right.
And Max Payne.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And he's only been knocked out once in the 28 fights that he's had in his professional career. So
yeah, it's
you know what I mean? Those are some things to think about. But regardless, both of these fighters definitely bring the energy. They bring they bring the oomph to the fight, right? At all times. So at plus money under 2.5, definitely high value play.
I guess the only thing I will let people know, and I don't know for whatever it's worth, but Max Griffin did lose to Neil Magny back in 2022 by decision. But Neil Magny's a dog. But so just to put it into perspective, I think just be careful when you take this fight. It's a dangerous fight. I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. So with that being said, we'll move on to the next one. I don't want to stress myself out. We'll be right back. It's Right Hook Pod. Yes, let's go, man. Welcome back. It's the Right Hook Pod. It's a big card. I'm starting to think about it, and I think this is like the effect where we go into it thinking it's going to be kind of slow. This is like the 3rd week in a row that we've said this, and it turns out to be bangers at the end of the card. So excited for this one. Damir Ismagulov versus our boy. I don't know if I guess it's our boy. I don't even know if he's my boy. Grant Dawson. He's the number 15 ranked fighter. He's 19-1. He's going up against Damir, who is the 12th ranked fighter at 24-2 in the lightweight. Listen, this is the co-main event. This is going to be a banger, as I always say. So let's talk about it.
Damir Ismagulov. 12 knockouts, 1 submission, and he's never been finished in his professional career. He's 5-1 in the UFC so here's the thing. His last fight, he went up against Arman Sarukian. beast.
We know
We all-
about him, man.
We already know about that dude, right? So unfortunately, he came up short against the guy. But before that fight, 19 fight win streak. So
19.
19.
Oh, hell.
He won 19 straight before he went up against Arman Sarukian. And the thing is, it was one of those things where nobody wanted to fight either of them. Nobody wanted to fight Demir. Nobody wanted to fight Sarukian. And they're both like, listen, no one wants to fight us. Let's fight each other.
Fuck it.
And they went for it. You know what I mean? And
You got to give him credit for going in against that.
100%, 100%. He has my respect, 200%. Sarukian definitely was like he won due to ground control time, right? It wasn't an outstrike. It wasn't a knockout.
Right. It was a boring fight, technical, and just had to get by.
Yeah. So
As you would expect one of those to be anyway.
exactly, he did win due to ground control time, but don't want to take anything away from my boy. But that just goes to show, like, I'm trying to give the viewers a bit of perspective on the type of fight that he fought and then lost, right? Remember,
Right.
19,
It wasn't a knockout or submission. It went
right,
to
19 fight win streak to then get held onto all fight and then lose to ground control time.
right.
Right? So just trying to throw some tidbits out there because these type of things matter when you're trying to pick who you think is going to win in the fight or not.
Yep.
His last true knockout or TKO was in 2017 outside the UFC. He does have one TKO in the UFC. However, it was due to an injury, right? It wasn't due to him putting the pain on the dude. It was due to the other fighter getting injured. The fight couldn't continue, so it ended in TKO, and that's how he got his TKO. The dude has great balance, and he nullifies the takedown very well. When I was watching the fight against Sarukian, every time Sarukian would take him down, he'd get right back up.
Right back up.
You know what I mean? He stuffed some takedowns. I think Sarukian went like 8 for 20 unofficially in takedowns. So that just goes to show the takedown defense of the guy and what he can do as far as nullifying all the takedowns. He has questionable power. He hasn't had many knockouts as of late, but the dude is durable. The dude can take damage himself, and he's a volume striker. He throws. He throws, especially when he feels like he's backed into a corner. He's throwing. He's going to throw at you. Now, we've seen how he went up against Arman Sarukian, who is a grappler or wrestler by nature. He is going up against another grappler wrestler by nature in Grant Dawson.
Love that.
He has 4 knockouts, but he has 13 submissions. His last 2 fights were by submission in the 3rd round. He's undefeated in the UFC. Grant Dawson is. He's on a 10-fight winning streak, not counting about 3 fights ago. It ended in a draw, unfortunately. But other than that fight right there, 10-fight winning streak.
Right.
He does well against adversity. He fought against, I think his last fight was against an Olympic gold medalist wrestler, and he out-wrestled him.
Love that.
Scary stuff. And the dude dropped him in the 1st round and tried to finish him. And Grant Dawson said, "Eat my dick. Not letting you do this. What's up? I'm here."
Right.
Very strong wrestler, beating a Olympian wrestler, and his last 2 by submission. And we see what Demir does against a wrestler. Now, granted, that fight was a bit ago. Demir and Sarukian's fight. That fight was a
Are
bit
you
ago.
referring to the Mark Madsen fight, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. He's 12-1, and he only lost to Grant Dawson.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was undefeated, actually, going up against the dude.
Yeah,
so,
he was 12-0, yeah, and he lost to a rear naked choke in the 3rd round.
See you later. Sorry. Yeah, so that just goes to show the grit and hunger that Grant Dawson has. And like I was saying before, we know how Imagulov does against a wrestle heavy opponent. This is one of those fights where I want to stay away from the money line.
I agree.
I do want to stay away from the money line. But if I had to pick who I think is going to win, I think Grant Dawson, who
Really?
I believe is an underdog.
Okay.
I do think Grant takes him down and just overpowers him on the ground and finds some way to make him tap.
You're on an underdog train right now. Just
Yeah,
so you know.
listen, I don't know. Like, listen, I don't do this strictly off of vibes. I don't do this
Oh
strictly off.
wait, hold on. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but it's not an underdog pick. They're both even at -110 right now.
Holy,
Vegas doesn't
holy!
know. Vegas and
When I was researching this, and I was like, okay, who do I think I'm gonna pick? I think I'm picking Dawson. Let me check the odds. I'm pretty sure Dawson was at least plus 105, 106, or something like that.
right
Now
now,
that I know that they're minus 110, look at that. Look at that.
and the under 2.5 is plus 184. If that shows you what kind of fight they're predicting it to be.
Mm, mm. Well, so
Well,
yeah, I think, yeah, yep.
you
Going,
can't go wrong, I guess, on the money line, but you really can go very wrong.
yeah.
So stay away.
So this is just me picking something that I think is gonna happen on this fight. But me personally, 90% gonna stay away from the money line. But if I had to pick one of the fighters to win, I am going for Grant Dawson.
All right.
And little sprinkle by submission.
There it is. All right. Sprinkled by submission for the co-main. It's going to be I don't know, a strategic fight, I guess you could say. I think we should anticipate that, unless they just come out swinging. And I think we both appreciate that as well.
100%.
All right, listen, the main event, Sean Strickland, Abus Magomedov, all coming up next. The Right Hook Pod, hang tight. Let's go. It's the Right Hook Pod, man. Welcome back. It's a huge card in the UFC. Sean Strickland, Abus Magomedov, and it is your main event. And ladies and gentlemen, we are 51 minutes in, and now we are here to break it down. It's the main event. It's your favorite troll, Sean Strickland, if you will. That man is
He had a mouth on him.
relentless. He's relentless. So I will say this.
Pause, by the way. Pause. Hey, yo.
I think we could both say we don't condone anything he says on TikTok, but in the cage, we do like his fighting style there. So without further ado, Mr. Sniper, what we bring you in for the breakdown.
Yes, sir. So Strickland, dude, is 26-5.
I just don't know about him, man.
Yeah, so his last loss, I should say. There's a lot of controversy against that loss, right? A lot of people think he won. A lot of people think the judges had it right and given it to Cannonier by split decision. I'm not gonna go either which way about it. I'm just gonna go off of what I know about Sean Strickland's fighting style, right? Because I don't think it's a fair comparison to go off of his split controversial decision against Jared Cannonier when he's fighting up against this dude who is of absolute fucking freaking nature. But Sean Strickland, he has 10 knockouts and 4 submissions in the UFC, or in his professional fight career, I should say. He has been knocked out twice. Once by Alex Pereira, and the other, don't know, don't care. He's a very in-your-face striker. He definitely brings the pressure. He walks shit down like he doesn't give a fuck about you, and he has sneaky power. You know what I mean? Especially with his stance. I don't know what it is about his stance, but it doesn't look like it generates much power. But when he does hit you, you see the sting, and it's just something to think about when you're watching his fights, because he can knock you out of nowhere, and he also does know how to mix in a takedown here and there a little bit, and it's not something you expect from Sean Strickland. He always talks about how he's just trying to knock you out. He always talks about how he just wants to stand and bang with anybody, and I believe he has the ability to stand and bang with anybody. But with that being said, he's going up against Abus Magomedov, who in his UFC debut front kicked the kid's head to oblivion in 19 seconds. So I don't know.
It's tough.
Abus looks like a fucking
I
lab.
got yeah.
He looks like a lab rat. He looks like he's literally programmed to kill. And I don't know, man. It's just it's one of those things where I couldn't find much on Magomedov, right? I'm pretty sure he was PFL champion. He has been knocked out before, though. He's been knocked out once. He's been submitted twice, but he's on a 3-fight winning streak right now. He seems very overbearing, so this definitely seems like it's going to be a pressure fight, right? Like who out pressures the other fighter, and
right.
and it honestly can go either which way. So as far as money lines go, staying away. Definitely staying
I think
away.
that's the smart because these two are so unpredictable, dude.
Yeah, exactly. But I do think that this fight does not go the distance. I think it ends under 25 and sprinkle ending by knockout
All right.
because both of these fighters obviously has knockout power,
Right.
and I don't see it going to the ground. Magomedov does have 6 submissions under his belt, but he has 14 knockouts.
I don't think Sean Strickland wants to bring it to the ground, anyways, dude.
I don't think Magomedov wants to bring it to the ground.
Right,
I think this
right.
is going to be a stand and bang fight. So
let me see what the under is on that real quick. While we're here in real time, so Sean Strickland is the actual. He's the favorite, minus 164. Boost is plus 134 as of right now, and total rounds. Sniper under 3.5 plus 116.
what are they doing to me here, kid?
I don't know, brother, because I'm starting to wonder, like, are we on to something, or what are we missing? Because
Yeah,
under 3.5, so you're basically bringing it into the 4th round. I don't know, bro.
that one I might stay away because, like you said, these two fighters
Unpredictable, dude.
are way too unpredictable, and it could end in the first. It could go to decision.
Well, while we're here, go ahead.
No, I was just saying how anything could happen with these. You know what I mean with these two fighters. So
let me see. Let me take a look at Sean Strickland. So before we sign off on this, I wanna just be clear with myself. While I'm looking this up, Sniper, do tell where they can find us on Instagram and YouTube and all that.
Oh, 100%. You can find us on Instagram and on TikTok at the Right Hook Pod, and you can find us on YouTube at the Right Hook Podcast. Right.
Yes.
So if you're gonna follow us on YouTube, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment on our videos. All the feedback that we can get is definitely appreciated, and we're definitely always gonna take whatever anybody says into consideration because this podcast is for you. Right. We definitely me and my boy Mike both love puffing about two people beating the absolute piss out of each other.
Hell
But
yeah.
without you guys, this podcast can't grow to what we both believe it can be. So please,
Fact. Without y'all,
let us know whatever we can do to make it better, whatever we can do to make it more enjoyable for you guys. Please let us know. We'll be happy to oblige.
So thank you, Snipe, for that. So here's my thing, bro. Here's my thing. Sean Strickland. You ever see him spar when he got mad at his sparring partner for going too hard? Did you see that video?
I don't think I have.
So we'll post it on our Instagram because we're allowed to do that. He got really mad at his sparring partner for hitting him real hard. And it just goes to show it's like how much dog does Sean Strickland have left in him, right? So he's coming off of a win that went to a decision. He also lost a split decision to Jared Cannonier. Then he lost by Alex Piera for a knockout in the first round, right? And then he went to decision like his last fucking bro.
I will say this though, against that last fight against Nasruddin Imavov, he did take
Yeah.
that fight on short notice, and he did end up winning the fight. So
He did, but my thing is when you look at Sean Strickland, he's went to decision 12 times for his wins. He's also been knocked out twice, decision 3 times. When you look at Abuz, then you start looking and it's like, all right, he's only been decision total 6 times. He's knocked his opponent out 14 times. If he's got any kind of knockout power, similar to Alex Piera, I don't think Sean Strickland lasts, bro. I don't think this fight goes this.
Yeah, so it's funny when you say similar to Alex Pereira because Sean has been training with Alex Pereira, and I believe both Alex and Abus have the same fighting style. So it seems like he has been training for the fighting style of Magomedov, but like you said, regardless of who you're training with, like you can train with somebody like with the same fighting style, but you're training with them, right? They're not actually throwing to knock you out.
You can't put that dog in them. And also,
exactly.
while I'm here, I personally, and I'll quote this, and I'll put it on Instagram. I don't think Sean Strickland takes this shit serious, bro. Like I don't think he takes it as serious as most fighters, and that also discourages me a little bit too, right? When you look at the character of a dude from Dagestan, Magomedov, and then you look at Sean Strickland, I just feel like the discipline, and I could be capping, I could be just talking bullshit, but I feel like when it comes to discipline, it's like I stay away from the money line, but I really do like, as I talk myself into it, I like Magomedov a lot.
And Magomedov's the dog?
And he's the dog.
Okay.
So
maybe we'll put together a little dog lay.
I don't want to bore anybody, but I think we should. I think as the Right Hook Pod in itself, we should do a dog lay that night because I feel like this whole podcast has been that way, right?
Yeah, it has been dog heavy. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Facts.
Follow us on all socials. Maybe you'll see what we got cooked up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. Listen, we got to get to the lock of the night. That's coming up next. This is the Right Hook Pod with Mike, Ryan, and Sniper. We'll be right back. Let's go. It is the Right Hook Pod. It's your favorite segment. It's my favorite segment because I get to win money just like y'all. It's the lock of the night. It's Sniper's lock of the night. And word around Brooklyn / Saratoga, where I'm at. Well, I'll let you go ahead and let them know. Let them know.
So unprecedented, right? This episode,
the first thing.
Yeah, this episode has been about taking risk and not playing the safe plays anymore because I've been doing that and I've been doing well. So might as well take a risk and see what fruits I can bear from these risks, right? So unprecedented. I am putting my 3-1 lock of the night record on the line, and I'm throwing 2 locks of the night for tonight.
Let's go.
Yes, I am.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, let's hear it. First lock of the night.
So my first lock of the night will be for UFC Fight Night, Strickland versus Magomedov. Ismail Bonfim versus Benoit Saint-Denis ends by knockout at plus 155.
I don't know these, so this is new to me. All right, Ismail to end in knockout. And what was that? Plus what?
Plus 155.
Perfect. Second lock of the night.
Here comes the second one. Oh boy, my heart's pumping while I say this. Dear fucking Christ, what am I doing? Max Griffin versus Michael Morales also ends by knockout at plus 115.
Shit. Okay. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna parlay those and
I knew that was coming. I did want to throw a disclaimer out there and say do not by any means necessary parlay these straight off of my word. If you want to fucking risk it for the biscuit and that's what type of timing you feel like you on, then go ahead. But
I'm doing all three. I'm playing solo.
Yeah, so I'm playing them solo. Maybe I'll sprinkle in a Lasky. Maybe. We'll see. But listen, from Sniper's mouth to God ears, don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm doing it. Doing it. Our final thoughts coming up. It's the Right Hook Pod. 1 to 10, 10 being like a 6-stack card, what do you think this card has the potential to be out of 1 through 10?
So potential, I say smooth 7.
Smooth 7.
Smooth 7 because like when we're breaking down these fights and stuff like that, it does pump me up to know. And these are fighters that are like that. You know what I mean? They do the job when they step in the octagon, and they're not boring fighters, right? UFC is a bit fickle though, so sometimes they might respect each other too much, and then it ends up being a sleeper.
Right.
Who knows? But that's why I say 7, because I do feel like all of these fighters on this card, every single one, has something to prove. They're trying to make a further name for themselves in the
It's
UFC.
make or break. It's make or break for a lot of these fighters.
Pretty much. So yeah, I'd say 7. Even will be bold enough to say 7.5 out of 10.
I'll ride the 7.5 wave, and just because we talked ourselves into it, they have a lot to prove. So
Yeah.
that 0.5 definitely is there. All right, listen, we'll talk to you guys next week. Early show. All right, UFC International Fight Week. Alexander Volkanovski, Brandon Moreno. So we have a lot to get to on that. So we'll talk to you next week pretty early, but we're ready for it this Saturday, Sean Strickland, Abuz Magomedov. Sniper, I appreciate you as always. We go for 2 o'clock of the nights, guys. Listen, we're here helping you. You're helping us. It's all love. We're back at it next week.
Let's get it. Right hook.